Hey guys,
Hello.
welcome to Signal Boost. It's episode 44.
That sounds right.
Cool. I'm Jessie Sprocket, and I'm the communications director here at The Generator, which is our little community makerspace over in Sparks.
I'm Alicia Dynamic, and I'm our education manager here at the Generator.
And this is Signal Boost. It's our weekly live stream where we talk to people in Northern Nevada who do cool stuff and just like help make Reno and Northern Nevada better.
Mm-hmm.
And you could be on it too. You just hit us up. We have a couple spots left open. So, talk about anything. And we like to start off the show just doing a little like what's new with us segment to kind of get into it. And then we'll talk with our first guest that are right here. What's new with me is I'm doing all the flea market all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Literally until like 11 at night. I'm just doing Reno Punk Rock flea market stuff. But it's totally worth it. And I love it. And we made a gladiator pit last week. So I really need stuffed animals. If you have old stuffed animals or like old pillows, just like old soft things, we have a 16 by 16 pit that we need to fill so that people don't get hurt when they battle in there. Yeah. Bring your stuffed animals. That's what's up with me.
Cool. What's up with me is you can sign up for summer camps now, so sign your kids up. And we hosted some scouts over the weekend, which was cool. It was the first event with kids that we've hosted in the new space, and we also had one of the first, because we also did our first Maker Family meetup in a long time. Our first one it's actually the second one in this space, because we did one when we didn't know we weren't allowed. But so yeah, come out on Thursday if you've got small children, 3 to 5. We're doing crafts tomorrow.
Anytime between 3 and 5.
Anytime between 3 and 5 tomorrow.
You can just drop in,
Drop in, make some crafts,
3:45.
kick it
Yes.
with some other families with little kids. It's really fun. Yeah.
Cool. Is there what's happening this weekend? No kids things.
No,
Cool.
not this weekend.
Got it. Oh, it's Easter. So maybe do
It's
Easter
Easter.
stuff if you practice.
If
you practice chocolate bunnies.
chocolate bunnies.
Cool. Let's jump into it. I don't want you guys to sit here forever. Hi. Who are you? Can you introduce yourself, both of you?
Yeah, so I'm Jess Trujillo, and first generation here. Parents immigrated from Mexico, and born and raised here in Reno, Nevada.
And I'm Pat Flynn, Party Pat. Wasn't born here, born in Pennsylvania, but
What?
my parents moved here when I was an infant, so
Okay.
No.
yeah, I was pretty much
Alicia was born in New
Wow.
York, but raised in Pennsylvania, and I was born in Jersey, raised in Jersey. So,
interesting.
little East Coast.
Yeah,
We like it.
cool.
Where in Pennsylvania were you born?
Bradford, so
Okay.
middle nowhere.
Yeah, out on that's western Pennsylvania, isn't it? Bradford?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Kind of getting out towards Pittsburgh a little bit. I don't know.
He's like, I don't
Trying
know,
to think where that
lady.
is.
I moved here when I was an infant.
You've never returned to? No, I'm just kidding.
I have when I was
Why
like
go?
10.
Okay, yeah.
There's like a Zippo factory there, that's all
Oh,
I know, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Right? Interesting.
Sure, yeah. Pennsylvania.
Gotta love
Go
it.
there maybe.
Penns Woods.
It is Penns Woods.
Cool. So, and you do an apothecary together.
Mm.
So cool. Is there a brick and mortar store? How do people get your stuff?
Yeah, so right now we're operating out of Farino Distillery, which is on 4th Street.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's like right next to the Bluebird and next to Home Brewers.
Mhm.
But we're right in between there, and we took over because I used to bartend over there.
Nice.
So the owner, Joe Canella, is like the sweetest guy ever. Knew that I really liked herbs. He does a lot of things with herbs if he's distilling his own stuff. So he just kind of asked me like, hey, we haven't used this coffee shop area since the pandemic. So he asked us to take it over, and
Whoa.
so yeah, we're just operating out of that area right now.
What an awesome opportunity. That's so
I tried to go there once, and it was the day you guys were closed.
No.
And I was like, gosh. But I was so stoked to see that there's another. I'm so excited that this is catching on, because I personally don't drink alcohol. And I'm always like, I'll still give you my money, but I want something cool to drink.
Yeah.
It's such a missed opportunity, so it's cool that people are picking up on that. Because I know I'm not the only one. And it's awesome to have something fancy and special to drink, even if you don't drink alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
Is it mainly like elixirs like you would drink at a party or something, or even at home to relax, or is it also like tinctures and, you know, like medicinal daily use stuff too?
So right now we're focusing just on like the actual elixirs themselves. So like crafted, like I guess mocktails to some extent. So like we're making stuff where it's like, okay, anybody that doesn't like drink alcohol, people that, for me, like I try to not drink a lot, but I still like to feel something like naturally. So either if it's like relaxing or more euphoric, so just finding those certain herbs that have good benefits to them or can make you feel a little something, and just, you know, something for everyone. And I think my bartending experience really like kind of helped me with that too, to kind of give it like that shake or it's stirred, because I'm like, I don't want, personally, if I am getting something without alcohol, I'm not going to pay like $16 for like a fake old fashioned. I'm like, that's like kind of, you know, but we eventually want to make like our own tinctures and our own like non-alcoholic bitters and extracts and stuff.
Yeah,
but,
that'd be awesome.
Nice.
yeah.
How did you get into herb stuff?
So for like, I think it was just because we would be outdoors all the
just
time.
going out and foraging and
Yeah.
road trips, like that kind of stuff. And there's an app, Picture This. Like, it kind of
Yeah.
started with that. We would just take pictures of plants and learn more about them. Like, learn some are edible or some have medicinal effects. And yeah, it just kind of started with that curiosity.
You were just like out in the wilderness using the app and then eating things?
Yeah, like
That's awesome.
dude, like one time we were just out in Desolation Wilderness, is it?
Might
Out in
have.
Tahoe?
Uh-huh.
By like Tahoe area, like out there, there's like this spot. But I remember I was like freaking out because like there's like oh my god,
There's wild onions.
we were like
yeah.
so underprepared. There's like snow everywhere. We brought like our friends brought like Doc Martin. It was just, we just decided to go out there, and in the middle of
Like
everything.
specifically to forage.
No, we were just going hiking.
Oh,
And
okay.
like then we just found wild onions, like just growing
yeah,
out
yeah.
there. And then it just started to become like, oh well, we can start, you know, collecting horehound or sage or like all these other things to like that had like mullein and stuff, just different medicinal properties. And I was like, oh, like there's a connection that we can have with the land itself, and like it literally can provide everything that you need to some extent, you know. Like I'm super thankful for, you know, certain modern medicine, you know, because I'm like, I don't have to die from like tetanus or whatever. But like a lot of stuff, it's like, okay, I can literally cure certain ailments, feel better. Like there's so many things that the like nature herself has to offer, which is just, that was an inspiration for me. Just, you know.
Nice. I love that.
Are you guys still foraging sometimes?
Right now, we haven't had the chance.
Well, not the
like,
best time of year
Yeah.
yes, for that, but
For personal use, like we still try to consistently.
cool.
Not so much for our products yet until we like
Sure.
learn more how to like safely wildcraft
yeah, there's a
things.
whole like
Yeah,
another level
exactly.
of you
But
have to think about.
we still try to source everything locally, and if we
Oh,
can't get
awesome.
it locally, we'll go to like areas like that are somewhat close still, like San Francisco or the Bay Area. So
Cool.
all within like the West Coast for sure.
So those things that you listed, are any of those things that you would use in your elixirs? Like what things are you sourcing locally that you're using in your concoctions?
So right now, since it's springtime, I'm very excited because we're trying to make like a group outing to go foraging and just kind of
Nice.
collect everything. But for a new menu, we're making a syrup with like orange peels, sage, because I'm like, I
Nice.
love sage. And it's everywhere here.
Mhm.
And then what else did we add into it? Olive leaf, which that one's like Mediterranean, so it's kind of hard to get here. But
Sure.
like we're just trying to get everything we can. I want to do like roses because my mom
Mhm.
has a ton of roses in her yard,
Mhm.
and just rose buds too, like
Mhm.
rose, the rose hips give it a little tartness. But we try to, like, I think we're gonna try to do like seasonally, so it's also like
Mhm.
working with like nature itself. So it's not like, oh, we're like trying to source watermelon something like in winter. Like,
Yeah.
Totally.
yeah, we're kind of living like cyclically, I guess,
Mhm.
and like yeah, just working with what we're able to get.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love that. That's really sweet and intentional. And yeah, I feel like when you do things with the rhythm of the planet, it's just so much better. It's gonna be awesome. I want to taste all your things.
Yes.
So what's the deal at the distillery? Like anytime the distillery is open, people can come and get mocktails and whatever you guys make?
Yeah, so we're open whenever the bar's open, like Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, or current days. The owner's like more than willing to have us like open on Sundays if we wanted to. It's just we weren't getting enough foot traffic on Sundays, so we wound up closing those days. But in return, it also helps us to do like pop-ups. So we did one for the Holland Project, and we'll be doing more events with them whenever they do like cumbia nights.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. With thanks to like Ruby Barrientos, she's incredible.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
So we're doing that, and then we're actually doing the punk rock flea market too.
It's gonna be so good.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's
I'm
gonna
like
be fun.
stoked for that one. I'm like, I don't know what to expect because it's like our first time going to it, but I'm like, but that's exciting. Like we don't know like what.
Yeah. Well, it's been the first time. I mean, we haven't had one in like 2 years or whatever, so it's also such an unknown for us too. But I think it's gonna be really great.
Excited.
New year, new space, but people are excited, so it should be well attended.
Yay.
Yeah, that's
I'm
exciting.
excited you guys are going to be there.
Alright.
What are you gonna have? Like bottled mocktails that people can purchase, or can they get a drink and walk around with it, or both? Sorry.
No. Dude, don't apologize, but both. So we're gonna actually be launching at the farmers market with like bottled mocktails
Nice.
for Mother's Day weekend, like their Mother's Day boutique. May 7th, I think it is.
Yeah, I think it is May 7th.
So we're gonna be launching that, but like we're like everything that we do, it's like as ethical and sustainable as we like possibly can be. So that's kind of been like trying to figure out where are we gonna source like bottles, like glass bottles, and then we're doing like biodegradable ink and cardboard, so like all the labeling and stuff going into that. Just because I'm like everything that we do, it's like I want it to be as aligned with our values and like just like I wouldn't feel good pushing something out and like that I don't believe in. So we're like very crazy nitpicky, like particular about what we're doing with the bottling part of it. But
Cool.
yeah.
That'll be awesome. Do you have any things with rhodiola in it?
Oops,
Nice.
somebody's on a tour. And you can hear them in the hallway.
Yeah, there's a spot in New York that I've been ordering like mocktails from, and they have rhodiola ones and stuff too. But it's like it's really cool because they are also a small business, but it's also like I'm ordering these things from all the way over there. Like I'm just like, oh, it's a bummer that I can't find something similar locally. So I can.
Yeah. It's a good
We
one
found
too.
it.
Yeah.
It's called the Uncle Iroh. It's a Avatar
Oh, I
Last
love that.
Airbender.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love that so much.
It's chamomile skullcap tea base with our house-made rhodiola chamomile syrup,
Wow.
and everything's made in-house by us, and it's all sugar-free as well. So it's all sweetened with monk fruit sweetener.
Whoa.
So we don't use like
Ooh.
artificial sweeteners that you can't pronounce or anything like that.
I hate the way those taste.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. The monk
Yeah,
fruit's
they're
like
horrible.
it's good.
Really good?
Really
Cool.
good. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Are you gonna make a my cabbages
I want that.
one?
Honestly, we should.
It's just cabbage extract.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
something
it's a bitters. Like when they make a bitters, they could do a my cabbages. It would work. I
That'd
mean,
be fun. Yeah, that would be.
We're making one called the Jasmine Dragon right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that one, I'm like,
Cute.
okay, it's so good. That one is gonna be my favorite one.
Yeah,
I think.
same.
Like it's so good.
Yeah. It's very exciting. And so before we started the interview, we chatted a little bit. You brought up how you're making one with salvia and some of the dynamics around that. If you want to talk about that a little bit, I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah. So right now we're messing with an elixir that has salvia and calia, which is the Mexican dream herb. And I know every time I bring up salvia, people are like, oh. I'm like,
Whoa.
yeah. And so we're trying to like get rid of that like negative association with salvia because here in the West people smoke it. That's not the way that it's supposed to be taken. So traditionally it's supposed to be either chewed and they call it like here they call it like a quid and you like spit it out, or you would drink it as a tea.
Mhm.
So it's been kind of crazy how intuitive it's been kind of working with it to like make the tea but not make it super like potent. It's very like it's a very nice, relaxing, kind of like euphoric body high, but it's crazy because you still feel completely there. It's more of a relaxer. Like I remember for me, I was like, oh my god, all my like thoughts that are running through my head just kind of like shut down.
Ooh,
Sign me up.
Yeah, that's really good.
It's so
I'm gonna
good.
start my day with that.
Honestly, like it's I would,
Clean slate.
You're like,
just
quiet,
wipe
quiet
it off.
time now. Quiet.
Just clean it off.
because I mean I'm like we're always going 1,000 miles an hour, I feel like, and there's just always like this never-ending like to-do list. There's always just so much going on in our heads, and to just be able to kind of
Yeah,
like
absolutely. This will be one out of having a drink, usually right out of a cocktail or something. So to be able to have a different avenue for that besides just alcohol.
yeah.
It's exciting. Yeah.
Did you notice any effect when you went to sleep that night? Like, did your dreams change at all?
Yeah, I had.
cool.
We were giving out like before we do any like new menus, we always just give it out to like people to be like, okay, give us your feedback. And personally, I remember my dreams that night. I was like, that was wild. Why? Like they were so vivid, and I was just like, oh my god! And it's that Mexican dream herb. And one of our other friends, she passed out for like 10 hours. She was like,
Wow.
my dreams were just this huge story like
Wow.
going on, but it's crazy because it's like a lot of people I feel like are looking to feel like something crazy, but I'm like no, it's like it's a botanical buzz, like it's more mild, and like yeah, you'll feel good off of it, but it's not like I don't want
It's chill. You're not like tripping.
yeah, I'm like I don't want that to be what people kind of like associate with it.
Yeah.
Like it's, you know, getting that relationship back with the earth and like
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah.
I want to drink that. Yeah.
Me
Oh,
too.
I want to drink all the things that you've talked about.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
into it.
That's something.
What's your favorite, not even favorite thing that you've made, but maybe like your favorite outcome that's been happening since you guys have like stepped up and started this business?
Favorite out-
Probably the connections we've made with just the whole community.
Yeah.
That's been like the best part about it.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
bet.
like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
it sounds like you guys are forging some cool partnerships with some people in the community with the Cumbia Night and all that, and it's awesome.
Yeah, that's like, so that was the biggest thing. Because for me, like, when I kind of started, like, talking to him and, like, we kind of started birthing this idea together, we were just like, yo, like, there's not a whole lot of representation within the holistic or herbalist community. And, you know, for me, like, my mom and dad being, like, raised, like, with more of a, you know, rural or, like, farming background, to me it was just kind of like, oh, like I would like to do something with that, like to work with the land. And then coming like and seeing like a lot of the community here, like I have a lot of respect for them, but also not being able to see a lot more, you know, just people of color, I was like, that's kind of something that I would like to start doing. So like we've been networking a lot with like a lot of just incredible people, and just kind of trying to amplify their voices, having a place where we can like also have a place where they can display their art, where they can sell their products. So that's a huge thing with Farino too, just kind of allowing for that to flow, where I'm like, okay, like yeah, you make some amazing organic like soaps, or you make lotions, or like Ruby has her art in display there, just anything to have a place where people can come and also just support other people of color, like creators too, because that's huge to me. And just having that representation, because I know for me, like I do have that privilege being light skinned, despite like, you know, being first generation here, like we definitely went through like all of our own like, you know, exploitations and everything, but to be able to use that privilege as like a stage to help others, like that's huge. Like lack of representation even within the Asian community, that's like another thing. So yeah, I think that's huge.
Yeah,
like that's
yeah.
something that makes me cry a lot, honestly. I'm like, that's incredible to see that happen.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Thank
It's
you.
awesome.
Yeah.
Excited
Yeah.
for this.
I have Ruby's thing to her POC artist social at the distillery up to talk about later. So, because that'll be that's in the same in your space, right? You guys will be serving mocktails at it.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet. I don't know. I have the details up there. I don't know what day it is, but
It's actually tomorrow.
what?
Yeah.
It's tomorrow.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's tomorrow night.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We're on it.
But yeah, it's tomorrow night, and Leslie and Ruby both kind of co-created that because it was something that we were kind of talking about. Like, it'd be nice to have a place where it can be kind of a central hub for people to kind of meet. And so they kind of created that, and we're hoping to have that like bi-weekly. So it's
Nice.
like,
That's so awesome.
yeah, I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So many cool things coming up in Reno.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like Reno is expanding in a lot of different ways and making more space for people in a weird way, even though we're running out of like housing or whatever. You know, like it's weird. It's all weird, but in some ways, I think it's good.
Yeah, I've genuinely, like, despite everything, like, I know it's really hard sometimes to not get like caught up in our heads about like just kind of all the craziness that's happening with like the housing, the gentrification, like all those like more negative connotations, but like at the same time, like the duality of it, like all these amazing connections, it's like we can really make a difference. Like, it's about building that community, bridging the communities, and being like, yeah, like we have the power, like we can like, you know, make this happen. We can, like, if we just like that's huge for me though, the community, and just kind of being like,
Yeah, for sure. I feel like sometimes it feels like everything's kind of like not in our control, right? And like there's just going to be these bigger like systemic things like that are just going to bulldoze everything, you know? And it's hard to like not go down the black hole of that, but then you just like hold on to like building community and making spaces and and supporting each other, and then you're like, okay, maybe they'll be chill. Maybe they'll be okay. Yeah, so one thing we always like to ask everybody is, what advice would you give somebody who was just starting either as a business owner or as an herbalist?
That's a huge one because I'm still figuring it out myself. Like,
What's like a lesson maybe that you've taken so far, or something that's been helpful to you? Or I mean, even just in the context of like kind of getting into a niche sort of market. I don't know.
I think, I mean, personally, I don't know what yours is, but like personally, it's like, don't say yes to everything, because I feel like that's like
good advice.
huge.
That's good advice.
That's really good advice.
Because I feel like there would be so many times where it's just like, yeah,
Especially when you're up and coming, you feel like every opportunity you'd be crazy not to take it, right? And,
yeah.
But being judicious has a lot of value. Do you have anything you want to add?
Kind of adds to what she said. Trust your intuition, and that can go for things like don't say yes to everything, but also go towards like creation as well, because a lot of our creations were just intuition,
Yeah.
especially from your end. You're more intuitive than me.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't even like, because it could sound like a bunch of like hippie speak or whatever you want to like call it, but a lot of the times we're just like, oh shit, we have to come up with like something, and I'll just be like, okay, this, and I'm like, I don't know how it's gonna taste. Let's try it, and it comes out like incredible, like completely incredible.
That's
so,
cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
And some of the blends we've made, especially recently, like without even knowing this beforehand, like we look into the benefits after we've made it, just out of curiosity. It's like, wow, like all these things have like really similar benefits. So it's almost like a blend for, you know, like I guess specific symptoms, or you know, just like unintentionally too, which is really cool.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I feel like that's the opposite of how people work a lot of the time. You know, they're like, well, it's not necessarily better that way, but like a lot of times you're just treating the symptom, right? And so you're making the medicine for the symptom. But I love that you're just like intuitively putting it together and then it treats a thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. I love it.
Yeah,
I'm here
it's
for
been
it.
fun.
I'm like,
That's
this feels
awesome.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, your passion for it definitely comes through.
Yeah, thank you.
Are there any plants that you've like met along the way that you're like, oh my gosh, this is the most magic or beautiful or just kindred plant?
I mean, currently, I really, really genuinely think it's like salvia, because
Yeah.
I like felt like,
Say that too.
yeah, because I just remember when we were all trying it, like at Farina, we were just all hanging out together, and like we just felt that connection with the plant itself, and we're just like, wow, like that, like kind of moved us in a way too, just being like, wow, like that, like I don't know, it was definitely out there, and it felt like that primal, almost like weird, deep connection. I just had the most respect, like, for that plant, like, especially after that. I was like, wow, like, this is something that could change a lot of people. Like,
Wow.
That's really cool. Is that something that you could cultivate yourself? Like, could you grow that here, or is it like where do you get it from?
So we get that, we have to go, like, to get it, like, in the actual, like, loose leaf, we have to go all the way to the Bay Area to get it.
Wow.
So we can't find, like, a distributor that's, like, organic or anything like that, like, here. But it's from the sage family, so it's, like, we could easily grow it, and that's putting it out there that we can do that coming up soon, like, to be able to grow everything ourselves, but right now I can't.
Just
think
curious.
of it.
It's just kind of interesting. I don't know. We both garden, so I think a lot about like what you can grow yourself. You know.
Yeah, I definitely think you could.
If you ever want some hops flower, I have a hops that grows in my yard, at my farm.
We
That
would
would be
love
amazing.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be great. I would be so happy to, spread the magic of my plants and like let you guys make stuff. Because I always end up like having these big plans for my garden, and then when it's time to harvest and do it, it's like you get only such a small amount you actually can complete. So it'd be cool to just give it to you guys.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
we appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, let's. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it's time.
Decided
It's time.
to come on that.
Hey, Merlin.
Hey, this is my son Merlin.
Well, I'm so excited to see you guys at the flea market, and thanks so much for being on the show. It's been
Thanks
a
for having
pleasure.
us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thanks. I can't wait to try it.
Thank you.
Yes.
We'll be waiting.
Oh man, this is gonna be delicious. I want that salvia one. I want all of them.
I know I want all of them.
I want
I
Ira.
want the Uncle Ira.
I know.
Even if it didn't sound bomb, just for the reference.
Hey, Carrie, you made it. Come on. Come right here.
You can take
I know it's like a weird in and out.
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you so much for being here and making it work.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
I was looking forward to this, and I set that, remind me when it's time to leave, and all of a sudden I'm like, leave and go where? Wait, what?
Oh no. Sorry. I'm
Oh no.
But that's
Hate when
okay
that
because
happens.
this is my story. I live it, so it's
Your
not
timing
always-
your timing was perfect.
Yay!
Yeah,
Yay.
that was
Yeah.
great.
Good. I love your green hair
Thanks.
and your blue.
Oh, thank you.
Nice.
We were both blue for a while, and then it was a cute, like 4 months of blue hair.
I don't think it was that long, but it was a
Yeah.
while.
Well, it's been a while since I was purple, but I was purple when my boys played Cougar football, so
Nice.
that was always that was always fun to have a little spirit
Yeah,
in my hair.
definitely.
That's very sweet.
So-
Can you introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are?
Yeah, so my name is Carrie Countess. I get a little emotional telling my story. I'm the founder of Forever14.org. We're a nonprofit, and our mission is to advance conversation and human connection to prevent teen suicide. I lost my 14-year-old son on October 22nd, 2019. And he was an amazing kid, cute. He was the youngest of my 5 boys, a freshman at Minogue.
So many boys.
Yeah, so many boys, and he was the youngest, and he was only 2 months into his freshman year. And so he was a starting corner on his football team, an honor student, straight A's, seemed to be thriving in all aspects of life. He had a best friend and several backups, was popular, and he was a stable kid. Came from a 2 parent family, grew up in the same house for 14 years, and it was a beautiful fall day, 2 days after homecoming, and Minogue had been canceled. There was a whooping cough scare, and 4 kids in the district had come down with whooping cough. So they canceled school for the week to clean up, and this was a Tuesday. I had a 16-year-old at home that, you know, we live out in Spanish Springs, so that 30-minute commute each morning, we were looking forward to Matt learning how to drive. And my husband said, you know, hey, tomorrow would be a good day to go to the DMV. And I was like, yeah, that would work. And I set up an appointment, and that morning I had a Reiki appointment, and I'd never had a Reiki appointment before. I thought it was a massage. So my friend was an editor of a magazine, and this gal had offered to do a free Reiki, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, who doesn't want a free massage? So I hooked that up that morning and told my boys, you know, I'm gonna go to this appointment and I'm gonna come home and we'll do you know, the DMV, and then after that we'll, you know, cook dinner, go to the gym, watch that movie you want. Everything was cool. Everything seemed so normal. And so I did just that. I came home, grabbed Matt, went to the DMV. On my way out the door, he said, we had just gotten a new smart TV. So he said, Mom, can you show me how to work this smart TV? I want to watch a movie. And I was like, you know, I probably said something like, you know, Caleb, why are you always asking me to do this shit when I'm walking out the door? You know? But I stopped at the top of the stairs and I said, okay, you do this, you do this, you do this. Love you, we'll be back. You know, be prepared. Well, I'll be back. And so at 5:23, we were done with DMV and we were passing Reed High School. It was 5:23, I remember it. And I called home through the phone in my Jeep, and there was just this an audible, primal scream coming through the phone. And I was like, Caleb, knock it off, you know, stop it. So I hung up, and immediately my husband, his phone rang through. And he was like, what happened? What happened? And I'm like, I don't know. What are you talking about? And he said, I thought something had happened to our dogs, and I didn't want to hear it. So I took him off his speakerphone and I handed the phone to my 16-year-old son. And Matthew said, oh my God. And I was like, what happened? And he goes, Mom, Caleb hung himself. And I was like, what are you talking? What are you saying? Tell Dad, call 911. You know, call 911. He goes, Mommy's dead. Yeah, so that happened, right? And we live in Wingfield, so we're pulling up in engine 51. I'm following them into my house, and you know, I get to my house, my son jumps out of the car, and I just was really stunned, you know. My husband came running out, and I was like, this is really happening. And so anyways, we're no closer to knowing why Caleb did what he did today than we were that day that it happened. He didn't have any searches on his phone. He didn't have any conversations with anybody. There was no warning signs. There was nothing that we found in any journals or anything through conversations with his teachers or his classmates. He was, you know, 2 months shy of his 15th birthday. And so as I did not go into my house because I knew I couldn't unsee things. And so as I sat on the porch of my neighbor's house waiting for the coroner to arrive to take away my youngest son, I said, he'll be forever 14. And I just knew at that moment, and I don't know how, but I just knew I had to do something and that when my life would be dedicated to making sure that no other mother experienced this. So the year that Caleb died in 2019, 9 Washoe County kids took their lives. I had no idea. Like, I'm a mother of 5 boys. Like, I've been in this school district. We've lived in the same neighborhood for 20 years. We've been in the same house. We've been in the same schools. I should know this, right? I should know that there's other kids that are taking their lives. I knew nothing. And so that, like, within days, we bought the name forever14.org. I knew I wanted it to be a nonprofit. I connected with an attorney in town. We immediately filed our IRS paperwork, formed a board, and started getting to work. Caleb's funeral was 7 days later, and that following Friday, that was on a Tuesday, that following Friday we held our first board meeting, and the room was packed. We just had so many people willing to step up and help us fight this epidemic. I've learned so much since then that suicide is the #1 cause of death in Washoe County for kids 12 through 19. I didn't know that before. How come I didn't know that? And so we formed connection events. So we recognize that we have a connection problem today with kids. They think they're connected through their phones with other people, but there's just that lack of connection. But it's not just kids in their with their peers and that connection. It's parents and kids having that disconnect, and really finding that space where we can be open and honest with each other and talk about the things that are going on. And I really believe that kids think parents don't speak their language, and parents don't understand kids' language. So we do events where we hope Forever 14 hosts fun and interactive events that bring families and peers together. And so our first event that we did was on Valentine's Day. I said at Caleb's funeral that Valentine's falls on the 14th. And the 14th of February, that's just once a year that we profess our love openly to each other. And so I wanted that to be more frequently. So on the 14th of every month, we challenge our community to tech out and check in. So to put down your phone and actually have a real life connection with somebody else. We've adopted the state, Hope Means Nevada, the Ask 5 campaign. So on the 14th, we challenge everybody to ask 5, just check in with 5 people to how are you doing in real life connection, not just texting or doing the same thing that you do every day, but really connecting with them. And so our first Connect event was February 14th out at David's at Red Cock Grill. They were kind enough to give us a room. We invited Karma Box. We invited Kindness Rocks. The founder of Kindness Rocks was actually in town, and he and his family came out. And we just opened it up to the community as a source of healing and connection. And that was really a good event. So we followed that up with our first real event where we brought kids together in nature up at Project Discovery. And if you don't know about Project Discovery, it's a ropes challenge course. It's been up adjacent to Sky Tavern for the past 25 years. It's it's like the best kept secret in the area, but it's usually reserved for elite kids whose parents can really afford it because it's not a cheap program. So we partnered with Mike, and we hosted our first Connect event. And since then, we've done about 8 of them. Wow. This summer, we have 5 more on the calendar. And this is a full day of ropes challenges. And it starts with a little simple, what's your name? Who are you? Where do you come? A little bit of ice-breaking stuff. Then it gets into the kids don't even know it, but we're teaching them safety about, you really have to listen and support each other. And then we break into lunch where I get a chance to tell my story, because a lot of these kids don't even know why they're there, and the what Forever 14 is all about. So I get a chance to tell my story, and then in the afternoon we break into some high adventure type stuff, which is really fun. After each one of these elements that we go through, we sit the kids down in a circle and we talk about what what kind of skills did you have to get through this particular challenge, and what did you glean from that. And these are we have them make a list, and these are just a couple that I brought with me. So it starts out that they talk about, they need strategy, they need to simplify, and then, this list goes on and on. They need courage, and as they go through the day, they're adding to this list of things, and at the end of the day, we review it all together, and then we give them an opportunity to recognize somebody else in the group who really left an impression on them. And so we give them bracelets that require them to, it requires two people to tighten them, because we always know that we can't do this whole thing alone. And so we allow them the opportunity to connect with each other by exchanging information and staying connected, and knowing that if they need somebody to contact, of course there's the general resources of the hotlines and what have you, but also just for them to notice and check in with their friends, because perhaps maybe they're not feeling those feelings, but somebody around them is. And to really emphasize the trusted adult, to recognize before you're in crisis, who is your trusted adult, who is the person that you're going to reach out to for help, if it's for yourself or for somebody else in your circle. And then we do that during the summertime. That's our legacy project. The kids actually named it that.
Nice. Can anybody sign up for that?
Anybody can sign up for that. So the ages are 12 through 17. And once I have the dates all locked and loaded, then we put everything up on our website. And then I just do things like this to get the word out. And, our limit is 140 kids per day.
Nice. That's a lot of kids.
It's a lot of kids.
And do the parents or the guardians come with them too and hang out? Or
they can,
cool.
if they want to, and we encourage that, because that connection is so important. So the more volunteers, the more that you get to experience what your kids experience is super fun.
Yeah, I want to do that with my kids.
Yeah,
that
so
sounds really
definitely.
fun.
So, and you can see a video on our website at forever14.org. If you flip through the pages, there's a video on there. So we do that through the summer. That's our legacy project. And then in September is Suicide Awareness Month. So we host the Great Race, where we take over Sky Tavern. Mm-hmm. Sky Tavern came on board right away as a partner of ours.
They're amazing.
They are really amazing.
Great.
And we've been up there since 2002, since we moved here, with our kids going through the program. I have pictures of Caleb a year and a half on skis up there. It's just so crazy. That they've just been so amazing, Bill and Lithia. And so we take over Sky Tavern. It was so funny, because right at one of our first meetings with Mike, we went up there, and Bill is this kind of gruff guy. And so he's like, let me introduce you to Bill. And so we walked over there, and Bill was like, so I'm from Carrie from Forever 14, blah, 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 same thing you guys just heard. And he goes, yeah, so what do you want from me? And I was like, so can we just bring a bunch of kids up here and run up that mountain? And he's like, yeah, you can do whatever you want here. And I was like, oh my God, okay, so now the wheels are turning and we're doing all this amazing stuff. So the Great Race is not a race from start to finish. The Great Race is the Great Race to End Teen Suicide. And so your family can register. It's a nominal fee. I think last year we charged $60 for a group up to 6 people. So it's you're paying $60 for your entire group.
Cool.
To go up there, and you check in, and then you go through a series of 8 challenges that require you to work together. Like, you can't, it's kind of like the Amazing Race, right? So there's these challenges that require you to work together, but also there's some education about nature and recognizing your space around you and how you communicate, and the feelings that you're actually having as you're going through this whole thing. And then at the end, we really bring you up on stage and we celebrate you and hand the microphone over to you. Grant Denton from Karma Box is our MC. And then we've got K Riz, who's a local, yeah. So he comes up and he performs for us. His family taught me long ago how to grieve gracefully. And then Nevada 445, Cindy Lane, who lost her son to suicide, has an amazing country band that's family friendly for everybody. So her band plays up there, and then we've got a couple of other artists. It's really just a lot of fun. Food trucks and all of that. So
When is that?
that's September 17th this year.
Cool.
And then
Is
and
registration open already?
and registration will be open on the 1st of July.
Cool.
And then so that culminates what we do in for like the third quarter. And then Caleb was in uniform the last 4 years of his life. He was in the Mendog GT program, and then he went to Minogue. One of the ways that he expressed his uniqueness was by wearing crazy socks. So we do a crazy sock collection from October 22nd, the day that Caleb died, to December 23rd, which is his birthday. And then we meet down
That's my son's birthday.
Is it?
Yeah.
And
crazy.
we meet down at Swizzle, which is at 400 Mill Street. Swizzle is our brand manager for Forever 14. And we have a little party there where we separate and we take all the little plastic thingies and tags and everything off of the socks. We measure and calculate how many socks we have. This year we did it in gallons because it just became overwhelming in weight and impossible in the number of socks. We had 30 collection sites around town, businesses and schools, and then there was a little bit of challenges going on between, rivalry schools were challenging each other, and it was really a lot of fun. So we take those socks and we distribute them to the homeless population and to organizations like Step 2 and Casa de Vida and
Cool.
all of the
And everybody
the
gets
places.
crazy socks.
And everybody gets crazy socks. We've also do Soul, the founder of Soul, he had given us 1,000 warm thermal socks.
Nice.
And so it's not, crazy socks was Caleb's thing, but warm socks is necessary in the winter time. And so we just do both, and it's really a way to celebrate for Caleb's friends to come together and celebrate his birthday, and also bless our community. And who doesn't love crazy socks, right? And so that's kind of what we do. And then the second year, as we went into our second year, rather than doing the event out at Red Hawk like we did on February 14th, we've done it the last 2 years in a row. We take over Defy Trampoline Park from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning.
Whoa.
And K-Riz comes and plays, and then we have speakers. So we had the mascot from UNR come out, and then this year we had a couple of really powerful speakers. Erin Snell from Rise Wellness. She founded the first suicide prevention center here in the state of Nevada. Is actually located right here in Reno. She came out and she talked to the kids, and then Chelsea Keith, who was one of our first interns from the social work program at UNR, came out and told her story about her attempts in survival. And it's just really powerful. So from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m., these kids are off the wall, literally off the wall. We asked them to bring a snack to share with everybody because you bond over food and things like that. So they're jumping and they're bouncing. And then at 6 o'clock when the event is over, we walk around the marina. Caleb was he was a track star and he was gonna break records. But one of the things that he really loved to do, he was super fast, and he loved to do the Run for Education. And the Run for Education started down at Shields, and it went around the marina. And so we call it a 3K, and we walk around the marina. This year, it was 22 degrees out. These kids have been bouncing from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning, going crazy. And then at 6 a.m., they walked over 2 miles around the marina in 22-degree weather, holding the signs of kids who have taken their lives here in Washoe Valley. So they take that kind of experience back to their school. The kids were really hyped on it. We have all kinds of bracelets and stuff that we give away for them to go back and share at their school. Pop sockets to remind them to put down their phone, to check out and check in. Just little things to remind them. We do random acts of kindness throughout the city and county to just remind people that kindness is the cure and that we all just need to be a little bit nicer to people. So that's what we do, and
So many
our
awesome
goal
things.
has always been from one of the beginning is to be suicide for Washoe County, to be suicide free by 2023, the year Caleb would have graduated. And so suicide is down in our county. So contrary to what a lot of people are saying, the media wants to report, they find suicide and trigger on, that's a trigger for them. But really, Nevada has dropped from 10th in the nation to 12th in the nation. And while that does not sound like a huge accomplishment to me, that means lives. And so I really believe in my heart of hearts that Washoe County students can be suicide free in the school year 2022-23. And we're doing everything that we can. So tomorrow morning we're meeting with the Washoe County Coalition. We're getting to present to them, and Mike, Selvia, and myself. And then we have a gal who has a testimonial on how Forever 14 has affected her life. She came out for the first time at the Great Race, telling her trusted adult that she actually had several attempts, and he was learning that for the first time. And so that's what we do, right? We want to save the kids. I don't want any parent to go through this. I'm a member of a shitty club that's grown by 6 families in the time since Caleb's died, and the youngest 12. He's a 6th grader. It's like that just, and his story is the same as ours. He's a good kid from a good stable family, good sports student athlete. So it's not always the ones that you think about that are struggling with the thoughts of suicide.
How can people help and get, help out with your cause and volunteer and do good work?
So the best way to be able to help us is to volunteer at our events. So come out, show up, come out and help out. They're really a lot of fun.
They sound great.
I'm a fun-loving person, and so these things. Caleb was, he was so much fun. always running here and there, and he was the life of the party. So everything we do is fun, and so come help out at those. Help us get the word out through our social media. Everything that we do is going to be posted on social media, and then the links for it can be found in our website. We've just found that if we post those links on social media, we get buried. And so we just try to drive everybody to our website to get information, including the waivers, details how to sign up for it. And then once you sign up, we access other tools that help us remind people of what's going on. And so sharing and getting the word out on social media, volunteering, and then of course none of this is done free, and so donations help. And so any time, I know there's simple things like my daughter-in-law's auntie works at Intuit, and all she had to do was sign up, register Forever 14 with Intuit, and now all of the volunteer hours that she puts in, they make a donation to Forever 14.
Nice.
We also are an Amazon Smile. So
Awesome.
everybody shops with Amazon. If you just choose Forever 14 as your charity, then they will we'll get donations that way. So we understand that it's difficult for people to dip into their pockets, but there is corporate money out there that can come to help us do what it is that we do. We also, anybody who's a grant writer who knows about grants and can actually help us write those. We do have a board, but I'm kind of a one-stop shop, chief cook and bottle washer, and so any type of help with that kind of anybody who has that kind of talent we would love to work together on that. So this is not an overnight project. It's something that's gonna keep growing and moving on, and we are partnering or working together and uncovering resources for other families out there who are also trying to champion for this cause because they too have lost a child. So I do know that there are some moms that are trying to get some programs started in Washoe County schools, which I think is great. Anything that people can do to advance the conversation and human connection to prevent teen suicide is our partner. That's our mission, and those are, we just have to talk about it. And I truly believe that the more people that hear my story, that hear Janine's story, that hear Paige's story, that hear Shauna's story, if you can see yourself in me, then you have a better understanding that this can happen to you. Because there isn't anybody out there that could have ever imagined that this would be my story, that this would be my mission. Nobody. Yeah, so that's what we do, why we do it, and thank you for having me here.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming and sharing your story with everybody, and we really appreciate it so much. And everything that you're doing is amazing. And do you have any stories from your work that really resonate with you that you really want to share with everybody?
Well, I think that this is it's a very private thing, but I do know I receive messages on the weekly that having those difficult conversations at home have uncovered some real feelings and actually some tried attempts. And so I think that I can't really go into specifics, but I know I receive information every week, And then, just being able to have the resources that we do with Rise Wellness and our programs for kids to be able to reach out and get the help that they need. So.
And then they're making these really beautiful positive memories too that they get to carry when they do the ropes course or the trampoline
Yes.
park, and know that somebody really cares about them and wants them to go and
Yes.
do these fun things. So
Yes.
that's really beautiful.
And what they learn is about themselves. There's this interesting fact that I learned this summer because we did a couple of groups with Black Wall Street, and they bring in inner city kids, right? And a lot of the kids that have signed up for the program these past couple of summers have been through Caleb's friend circle, or kids that we knew through sports and stuff. And it's an interesting thing with middle income kids, right? These middle income kids, they have a lot of faith, right? They have a lot of faith in that people aren't going to let them down because they haven't had a lot of refusals in their life. They haven't had a lot of people bail out on them and leave them high and dry. So their faith is really high, but their resiliency is low because they've never had to fight for anything. They've never wanted something so bad, and they've never had to want for food or for a pair of shoes. So we have these kids up there who have this really high, amount of faith in the system, in other people, but their resiliency is low. They're easy to give up. Oh, I can't do that. No problem. I'll just give up. And then you have these inner city kids who their resiliency is so high because they've had to fight for everything. They've had to really struggle just to survive, but their faith is low. So you get them 40 feet up in a tree, and I've got this kid yelling down, I told you I have trust issues, right? So are you holding on? Are you holding on? Really making sure he has had a lot of people let him down in life. And so
40 feet in the air is scary.
It is
It's really
scary. It is scary. I'll be honest, I have not been up there, but it's an amazing thing to get these two groups together and to have them learn about each other and their lives and their lifestyles. So what you have is kids teaching kids, right? Peers teaching
Which
peers.
is awesome. So great.
And I love that that at the end of the day you've got two kids whose lives would have never intersected until they came to this program, and now perhaps they can help each other navigate life in this crazy world that we live in. And so I just there's just so much information that you glean from watching kids in this kind of environment, because it's fun, but it's scary, and you're with people that you don't know, and you're doing things that are require you to really tap into your faith, to breathe, to have gratitude, to never give up. I just love this, to have preparation, to listen with your eyes, be open-minded, learn from your mistakes, keep your cool, right? All of these things are life skills, and we all need them.
Yeah.
And so I love what we do. I wish Caleb was here to see it, because he would love this too. This is so up his alley. Everything that we do is something that Caleb would have loved to have done, and he would have been a leader and taking it on. So creating a legacy for him has been fun. It's been sad, but it's been fun.
It's really beautiful. It's great that you get to bring that to all those kids. It's amazing.
Well, it's a very cool program, and I'm glad that we can open it up for all walks of life. Our programs are always free,
Cool.
with the exception of defy darkness because we have a limited capacity. But nobody will ever be denied one of our events because they can't afford it. We have sponsors. Like I think this last time we had 20 kids sponsored, and then of course the Legacy Project is always no cost. And the only reason why we charge for the Great Race is the same thing. Is we don't want a bunch of people signing up and then not showing up. That happens all the time. So at least I like to use the phrase "skin in the game." If they've got some skin in the game, they're usually more likely to show up and not take space from somebody who wanted to be there, but the space wasn't available for them.
So if somebody really wants to do one of these programs, I know you said the registration isn't out yet, but if they are really interested, or maybe even if they can't afford it, but they would love to just do it anyway, get sponsored for trampoline or something, can they just email you
Yes.
or reach out to you on Instagram?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Either Instagram, Facebook, email me, are all the best ways to get in touch with me. My contact information, phone number, and that kind of information is on our website. I mean, I'm very transparent about all of that. But yeah, just reach out and be patient with me.
Just one woman doing a lot of stuff.
I know. Well, in the midst of all of this, God has blessed me with 2 grandchildren
Nice.
who
Congrats.
were part of the California Exodus, and they moved here 3 months ago, and so now I'm full-time grandma.
Nice.
And so
I'm jealous. I wish my mom was here.
So it's been one of those things that I say, sadly, God got one, but gave me 2 to heal my broken heart. And so dealing, not dealing with, but playing with my grands all day, and then running Forever 14 in the evening and the weekends. I try to keep up on as much as possible. And the thing, we do these 4 quarterly events. And I was, my career before, I did events. So these
sense.
things come fairly simple, and I'm spirit led by that. Typically everything seems to fall into place, and the problems that pop up just don't even seem like problems after you've lost a child. But I want other people, other families issues. You can go and you can meet other parents who are also going through the same thing that you are. There's never been anything like that here in town. So when Caleb first died and I started Forever 14, Shauna reached out to me and she said, my son Anthony has been in Reno behavioral health and he's attempted suicide several times. Anthony was like 12 at the time. And she's like, do you have any other parents who are going through any resources for me? I was so new in this whole thing myself. And Caleb,
I didn't have help. We didn't go to therapy or anything, or he had never, there was nothing. And so I didn't really know what resources to give her other than to say, I would go back to Reno Behavioral Health, or maybe, check in with Children's Cabinet, or maybe you could call Nevada Crisis Center. I was giving her all of these, what felt like just empty avenues to go to. Clearly she had been down those roads before, but I had no resources for her. So at the Great Race, she actually met Aaron, who together they started this support group, and it's there. If people need it, it's there. Now I get it. Like today, Shannon, she messaged me. This was week 2 that she started this group.
Super new.
week 2 that nobody showed. And she's like, I'm so discouraged, I just want to quit. It's not easy for a parent to come out and say that their child is struggling. I mean, the stigma that goes along with that, right? You don't, and do you want to, do you want to pull the covers back on your kid, Do you want to expose them to that? Do you want to tell their secrets that they've shared with you? Where do you go with that? So,
but
my
also
words,
keeping it bottled up to, bottled and just in the family is also
Yes.
really difficult, and
it is.
you can't just be a lonely island as the parent either, you
Yeah.
know? So,
Yeah. So I hope that more people will recognize that every Wednesday from 6 to 7, Aaron and Shauna are sitting in a beautiful office over there just waiting for people to come and share, get the support that they need. Because yes, I mean, I can't imagine what Shauna lived with for 2 years, and then her son died. And I can't imagine. So there's things out there, and there's no reason that this needs to keep happening. And so I think if parents just can get their head out of the sand and out of that, not me, can't happen to me, not my kid mentality, I think that people will recognize that it's happening, it's being talked about. So you can either talk about suicide with your kid, or your kid's going to talk about suicide with their friends because they're already doing it. So you might as well have that conversation because it's already being talked about. It's happening.
Yeah.
These kids know somebody who's died, or know somebody who's known somebody, or they've had those conversations about, killing themselves.
yeah. Thanks so much for coming on. We really, really appreciate it. And
Thanks for having me. Thanks for
send
the
us,
invite.
yeah, of course. Send us the info about that meeting on Wednesdays. We'll be happy to reshare it and just
Thank you.
help signal boost it.
Yeah.
And if they want to come on the show too and talk about it, we
Yes.
would love that as well. So, yes.
Would love to do that. I would love to give a voice to as many of these people who want to talk about it, and that's what's going to save us. That connection, human connection and conversation, will save our kids. Yes, thank you, ladies.
Thank you. We're gonna wrap it up right now.
Okay.
It's about that time. Thank you so much. What? Yeah, I have our Instagram roundup real fast. Yeah, because there's some good things, and I really want to.
We'll just zip through it.
This art social at Farino.
True.
Yeah, I'm like just making sure I'm not messing up the way I'm saying that. Wait, I went there for the burrito project. You remember that?
I do.
We started, but
Oh, cool. Is it in that space?
Mhm.
Nice. Okay, so I'm gonna stop just yelling at you off camera. All right, ready?
It's not showing up. It just says purple.
This? The screen?
I don't see anything
The screen. Okay.
for the Instagram roundup.
Well, guys, you can see us talking. All right, I'll just describe the things, I guess. I know that's really ridiculous. There's just so many cool things happening, and I want you to know about it. It's fine. Okay, so the POC Art Social tomorrow at Farino, and that's at 6:15, and everyone should go and support and check it out. Leslie. Yeah, bring yourself and something you would like to work on. Yeah, just bring your art. That sounds lovely. Kid Rocker, they're a local kids music nonprofit. They're gonna have they do a concert where the kids come and play their music, and my daughter actually performed one time. It's really adorable, and that's gonna be April 24th from 2 to 5 at Shim's Surplus.
Oh God.
Yeah, the National Auto Museum. It's
Doing
gonna
cars.
Cars,
Guess
dude.
I'll have to take Merlin.
I know.
He loves that.
So many kids love Cars the movie, And I was like, oh yeah, of course, he loves trucks. National Automobile Museum, like how
I
can
know,
I
how
not
have
there?
we not taken our truck up since children?
The National
National
Automobile.
Auto Museum.
What
The
about
show Cars, they're doing a like exhibit of the show Cars, the cartoon
And
movie.
it starts on 420, y'all. That's
Yeah,
fine.
it's funny 'cause I
Now
can't
you-
see.
I know you can't. I'm just
Okay,
describing it.
Sierra Arts.
Depot Gallery pop up Thursday to Saturday, and the artist talk on April 21st. Depot Gallery is, I feel like, really underexplored. It's
Mhm.
over in Victorian Square, and it's the old train depot, and they always have cool artists in there. And we're going to do a pedicab tour on April 29th as part of the punk rock flea market. So you pay for the pedicab and you get all these drinks and food on Victorian, and you also go to the Depot Gallery and check out the gallery and learn about all the art on Victorian Square. So, but that's a cool thing that you can do, but at any time you can go to the Depot Gallery and check out some art there. Just yelling about this into the void, guys. I'm sorry there's no pictures. Yeah, it's fine. LCD Modern is opening their own store, which is really cool, and the grand opening is really soon, and they have these cute doormats that say "The good kind of weird lives here." And that's a local artist, female artist, that's been working in Reno for a long time, and now she finally has her own storefront, so that's really awesome. 1995 Dickerson, which is a gallery over on Dickerson, and they are now partnering with Sierra Arts, and they're kind of having a rebrand, and they're doing an opening on May 6th. Easter egg hunt on Saturday at Shadow Mountain. Bring your own basket. Starts at 10. And okay, 2 more things. Machine Gun Vendetta album release. I really love these guys. They have become my like really good friends. They volunteer here all the time, and their band is sick. So good if you like punk music. So go support their
Saturday, April 16th.
Yes. What time? Probably 8. Everything starts at 8.
Nighttime.
At night. And then last but not least, audition at Good Luck Macbeth on April 24th and 26th. Go audition. You know, I know
Go
you're.
audition.
Some of you are into it, some of you are afraid, but whatever. Just go audition. Maybe you could be in a play.
Are you gonna audition?
Hell no. I'm stage crew. I'm the behind the scenes person.
So go do it.
Yeah, I would love to be stage crew.
Go audition even though you're scared.
What? No, I don't want to be on stage. I mean, if you feel called to it. If you don't feel called to it, don't do it.
Walking it back a little bit, huh?
Whatever. All right, fine. I guess I'm
All
gonna
right,
go
well,
audition.
thank you. Good night.
Bye,
We're
guys.
gonna go audition for this thing.
Thanks for being here. Okay.
Need a mouse back.
It's not even off yet, Alicia.
Sorry.
No.
Don't you need the mouse? I thought you needed the mouse.